still remember the day when you first played World of Warcraft? Do you remember the feeling of excitement when you finally ventured into a new zone with all new stories and new characters that you hadn't met before? But even to this day, you still love them. Maybe you remember queuing up for a dungeon as a tank and people kept yelling aggro, and you had no idea what that meant. For some reason, your team was dead all the time though. Or maybe you found yourself in a battleground, just watching people run around with flags and you were asking yourself, what am I doing here? And how did I end up here? I remember feeling so amazed by other players when I'd see them in the wild, and they had this thing called transmog, but I could not figure that out for a long time. I remember mousing over characters, and they had 2 question marks where my tooltip said level 10. As many of you know, I love telling stories in my videos and in my builds, and this one is truly special to me. So get comfy and enjoy this tour of my most fun memories of the time my sister and I played World of Warcraft for the first time. One of the games that I have great memories of is the Chronicles of Narnia on PlayStation 2. So once you walk into my home, you notice that we come through a wardrobe actually, and that's a reference to Narnia. And once you walk through the curtains, you can see the grand reveal of the build. So this is the hallway that leads to the stairwell that kind of leads to all of the other rooms. And as you can see, I have made this hallway fairly detailed. We have here a book and a chest, and of course we have some details on the walls as well, and I would just like to talk about these ones for a bit. So this book over here kind of signifies that this is a story that we're walking through, the upstairs area especially. It's just kind of fun to put something to the entrance of the build to symbolize, what you're telling in your build. And then the chest is sort of like to represent that these are memories. That's basically the meaning of these things. I really like putting things like this in the start of my builds because it just kind of makes it clear from the beginning that okay, there's a purpose for this build. And then here we have these painting thingies. They're just carpets on the wall, but yeah, I really like how they turned out. I tried to make it so that this is sort of like Horde side, Alliance side, because I remember we were struggling a lot with the fact that Orgrimmar was so ugly, and we were these beautiful elves, and we had to go there and be all dusty and stuff. Nah. So we really wanted to go to Alliance, actually, but then we couldn't be blood elves. So yeah, it was a really difficult choice for us, honestly. And once we go here, we enter the main hall, I suppose you could call this. So here it is, the grand reveal. I think this is my favorite area in the build, like indoors. I really love how it turned out. And of course, like this being a Blood Elven build, it obviously has a meaning as well. So my sister and I actually both made Blood Elf Hunters when we first started playing, and it was purely just because of the pets. Like, I'm not even gonna try and lie. Also, all of the other characters were kinda We loved elves, we loved night elves, but we just preferred the pets that Blood Elves had. As you can see, I have themed the house accordingly. I actually had not built anything Blood Elf themed yet, so I was really excited to get started on this. I had to wait until the pre-patch so we can get the matching exterior for this. Also, I went to Silvermoon City and Eversong Woods and Ghostlands to get some inspiration. So this was a really good excuse to just go and tour a little bit, listen to the music, and sort of also say bye to the zones, I guess, because they're going to be very different in Midnight. I absolutely love the Blood Elven architecture a lot, and as you can see, I tried to incorporate that into this build as well. So I wanted to have a lot of curved platforms and these stairs that we often see in Eversong Woods and Silvermoon City, and I really tried to keep things very simple, clean, and not too maximalist. I did not want to put plants everywhere indoors, and that was actually a tiny challenge for me. So over to the right here, we have a cozy little reading nook dedicated to my sister. Her favorite color is pink, but the pink colors we have in this game are kind of yucky in my opinion, so I went with this light lavender color instead. So basically, I just really needed to include this room for her because she loves her reading and she loves being cozy and sipping some tea, but also she's kind of a genius. She's a scientist, and I am so amazed by her work and her ambition. It's like the first thing I ever tell people about her, and I will never shut up about it. I'm so proud of her. This space is fully just to celebrate her accomplishments and the hard work she's put in over the years. I don't know if you guys find it easier to build for someone else than yourself, but I definitely do find that that's the case, and I think that's why I'm building so many things with stories behind them. So now if we go to the left, we come to a dining room with a bar. And this room was inspired by a lot of areas from Eversong Woods and Silvermoon City, as the Blood Elves do love their parties. I had to include a table with a bunch of food because it reminds me of our parties that we have with our family whenever there's even the smallest reason to celebrate. And of course I added a bunch of cheese boards because if there's something to know about us, that is that we do love cheese. And I don't mean like hee hee, here's a tiny slice of cheese with a little jam. I mean we eat cheese. We make a board, we devour it, like there will be jams and crackers and whatever else that can be put into a cheese sandwich. And we don't do any of that crackers with cheese business, we do cheese with crackers. And over here we also got a tiny little bar area for coffee and drinks, and this is mostly here just for the vibes. I do love my coffee, as I've mentioned before, but yeah. Since the Endeavors came out, I just really had to showcase them somehow, and I thought that this was the perfect opportunity. Also, if there's one thing I remember from starting to play this game and playing Blood Elf for the first time, I remember still being so amazed by the zone where you start out. And I remember the golden light, and it was so like inviting and warming, but then the story and also the music, they were so like mysterious and scary in a way as well. So it was like such a weird feeling that it was such a beautiful place, but then also I kind of felt scared by it almost. So that's why I've included a lot of this warm light everywhere. I just really love how nostalgic it makes me feel. But yeah, this downstairs area is more so just for like living quarter areas, not so much the storytelling, even though like I guess you could say that we really loved Blood Elves and like we were so intrigued by them, and we were exploring every single place in Eversong Woods and in Silvermoon City. We started out in Argent Dawn as well, so there were a lot of role players back then there. I don't know these days how many there are. I just transferred back to Argent Dawn, so I'm not sure. Let's go to the back here. And if we go through this corridor here, we come to a cute little garden space. I really wanted to make the corridor very similar to those you see in Silvermoon City, and I think that this really does get the message across. I really like how it turned out, and I think it's a perfect way to get to the garden. Over here I included a tiny little potting station in this hallway and a flower wall because I do love plants and I love flowers, but I am actually terrified of flying bugs. I do not mind spiders or crawly bugs as much, but I don't like anything that flies. I have a horrible fear of bees, bumblebees, butterflies, ladybugs, wasps, flies, anything that flies. No matter how cute or harmless it is, to me, it's like if it's flying towards me or if it buzzes, I am out. There is absolutely no fight in me, there is only flight. So I just had to include a tiny little potting station and garden for myself because, you know, the bugs can't harm me in game. So yeah. I also made a cute little sink here, which I actually featured in a short before, but I didn't make a tutorial for it yet. I will be showing how to build it in the speed build, or if someone wants like a short version of it, I can also do that. I got so many questions about it, so I really want to make sure that I explain it properly. And here we have the first outside area in the house. I wanted to do a cute overgrown foresty garden with a nice little breakfast area in the middle. I wanted to have benches and just lots of plants around. But truthfully, I would absolutely not spend time here without a beekeeper suit because I would be just freaking out. So my sister can have this all to herself. And I think now it's time to go upstairs finally. Then I'd just like to appreciate this for a moment because this is the coolest staircase that I've ever made and I really love it. I think it brings that Blood Elf architecture style into build with all the levels and the platforms and the levitating elements, and yeah, I'm just super proud of how it turned out. And once we come up, we come to this balcony area, or is it called a landing? I'm not sure. So here we have some flower pots on the walls, some beautiful windows, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, and also lots of candles, a little window thing on the other side there with a bunch of plants. I just really love how bright this place is, and it just looks so beautiful with the lighting settings. And the windows are actually inspired by Anea, and I'm hoping that I'm saying her name right. She made these beautiful windows in her mage tower, and I will include a link to her videos so you can look at the tutorial, because hers are much prettier because I left some stuff out of mine because I was low on budget. I still love these so much, and I hope you go and check them out as well. And to the right here is my bedroom actually. It's basically just a big room with a very comfy bed, little magical desk area to write my stories, a reading area, and a table with some cards. My favorite part in the bedroom is definitely the bed, the platform I made. I did that custom sort of design on it with a bunch of crates, and honestly I just did it just because I was thinking, like, if you get up in the middle of the night and it's really dark and then you're trying to crawl back to bed, imagine stubbing your toe on like one of those corners. For some reason that inspired me to keep it. There's also this tiny room here in the back with a magical mirror and all my fancy crystals that I love collecting, and a treasure chest that's locked with a magical seal so none of my neighbors can go snooping around. And over here we have the guest room slash TV room. And yeah, TV. I really wanted to have a space for us to just watch our reality TV because we do love our trash TV. Like every single time we're hanging out together with my sister, we're just like always on the look for new reality TV shows, and we're just binging a bunch of them. So like if anyone's interested in coming over to my build and watching some reality TV with me, we can watch like Keeping Up with the Windrunners or Love Isle of Weltalas, or maybe we can watch like Secret Lives of Twilight Cultist Wives, or you know, something like that. I got snacks. Okay, so we got one more area to explore, and this is the most important one, but I need to do a little change of lighting. Ooh, the lighting changed. Okay, so we're entering the very heart and soul of this build. This is the very reason why I built this in the first place, and it's so different looking from all of this Blood Owl theme. This is basically the memories from the first year of playing WoW with my sister, and when you're first looking at it, you're probably like, that's kind of different. Kind of interesting. So basically, Onyxia's head, because that was the first ever raid we did that was like old content, and the mount dropped and we had like no idea what was happening. But since I'm a big sister and I'm a decent big sister, I would like to think at least, I gave the mount to her, and then I got mine later on. But you know, so it like, you know, it has some meaning. And then also I was obsessed, and I think she liked it too, but like I was obsessed fully with this like cinematic thing, like a fan-made one called Hide and Seek. I think most people who played like back in the day know of it because it was very, very known and popular. But yeah, I was obsessed with it. It featured Onyxia, if I remember right. So yeah, it just has meaning to me, and like it was the first raid mount my sister got, and it was super exciting. And then here over on this side we have a map and a Pandaren cart and this sort of a flag. And I'll start with the Pandaren cart. We were obsessed with pandas. Like, we loved them. Pandaren were our favorites. We loved leveling new pandas all the time. Wandering Isle was like one of our favorite zones ever. The music is super nostalgic. I still love it a lot. It has the part where you have to like jump on a cart, and that's why it's here. And then a map, because we could have used one. We got lost so many times, and one of the biggest things that happened was we were in Ghostlands, and we were really not ready to go to the Plaguelands yet, but we tried and it was a mistake, and I think that scarred us so bad that we did not try going anywhere else for a while. And I would love to hear if any of you guys had a similar experience where you just like ran ahead to a new zone and you were not ready and you just basically got obliterated by a bunch of mobs as soon as you entered the zone. And then over here I have this rogue flag. That is because I was obsessed with rogues. For some reason I really wanted to level 1 to max, and it was my second character that I did get to max level. And I'm going to blame the hide and seek cinematic thing for that, because I truly just had this unhealthy obsession with getting the Bloodfang set and those swords. And then if we enter this area, it will lead to the main reason why I built this. And this is the main thing in this build. This is my favorite story. This is supposed to represent the Ghostlands when we were leveling there for the first time, and this is supposed to represent sort of like my room, because that's where we were usually gaming. And then over here we have this cute little pond area, and over here, there's a little well. There's just a lot of tiny details here and there. And basically the story is, I'm just gonna say this right now, my sister's still with us, so don't worry. But she was sick. She had the flu. She had a really, really high fever. We had been playing WoW for a long time. Like that day, we were in Ghostlands and she started hallucinating when she was sleeping in my room. She kept seeing herself in the Ghostlands and she kept getting stuck in the lampposts there. That was an issue we had a lot. We kept getting stuck on lampposts for some reason. So that inspired the build. But she spent a lot of time gaming in my room and it felt like my room was her safe space. So I built this tree. It's just supposed to be this beacon to safety. And I put a bunch of details here as well. There's like a book and a cozy little nook there. Then there's a telescope for me because I really, really love space and stuff. That basically inspired this entire build. This is one of my favorite stories to ever tell people. This happened when she was fairly young as well, so she's still sort of scarred by it. A week ago she said, I'm still like feeling really weird about this. It's kind of funny, like I'm allowed to laugh at her. I mean, I would anyway, but yeah. This build is supposed to be a celebration of all of the memories that we've made in the game and just over the years, all of the people that I've met, all the friends that I made, and how much it's changed my life as well. And I would be so interested to hear what sort of memories you have of WoW from the time when you first started playing the game and how much it's meant for you over the years. So feel free to share your stories down below because I would love to hear them. And I got to 1,000 subscribers yesterday. I am very happy, very thankful. If someone had told me that I would be posting YouTube videos like 2 months ago, I would have never believed them, but here I am. If you have found even a crumb of inspiration, if you've liked my posts or commented or shared them or anything, just interacted, thank you so much. I'm very grateful and happy. I can't wait for midnight because it's going to be really fun. So thank you again, and I will see you in the next video, which is a speed build of this build. As always, happy building!